Oh, can we deafen?
I'm back.
And we are live here with Prime Time at Night with a Division 9 matchup. OnlyFriends versus Burger Squad. My name is Spicy and I'm joined here on the mic with TopHatBear. How are we doing today?
Hello, Spicy. I am doing so great today. I am so excited for this prime time at night between these two teams. I mean, it's going to be a great matchup. Both teams, I really don't know who can win out of these two, which one's going to win out of these two. They're both so good. They're both so evenly matched. They both have some incredibly star talented players, and every single player on each lineup is going to be there, going to be bringing the heat tonight. What do you think about this match, Spicy?
It's one of the hardest matches to predict in a division that I already think is super close. These two teams play each other so playoffs, and after week one, OF. OnlyFriends 2-1 on the season so far, and Burger Squad 1-2. But they do have a positive in the differential, and this is such a key matchup going into the rest of the games this week that you got to be on the watch out for this in D9.
Indeed, if we're looking at Burger Squad here, if they end up losing this match, if they don't get the win here, they're 1-3, and they're going to have to win out to make playoffs, which puts them in a very, very precarious position. So while this match is not quite must win, it's about as close as it gets. OnlyFriends, on the other hand, would love a win here as well. If they can go 3-1, they're just one win away from most likely making playoffs. So a result here would almost guarantee a playoff position for them. So both teams, they really, really, really want this. Could we look and see at the lineups as we go into the match?
Yeah, and we were talking about this before we went live, but both these teams bringing their top lineups pretty much. Only Friends, represented by Angle, Bubbles, Brat, Godkip, S2E or Evan, and ZekieCat. Top lineup pretty much across the board. No discernible weakness just looking at this roster. You're looking at the results as well from this division. 2-1 so far. Pretty solid group here. And my favorite thing about this OF squad, they're deep. It doesn't matter which six they bring. They are definitely contenders against pretty much everyone else in this division. No true superstar because they don't really need it. Top to bottom, this lineup just plays so well and so consistent, and there's such a threat here in D9.
Absolutely. Are there any tracks tonight that we'll be looking at for OF to pick that they will shine on and beat out the competition?
From what I know, Princess Brad is hosting, so that means there's a pretty high chance Sky High Sunday gets ripped off the bat. DK Mountain's another signature track. You've been seeing Mute City, Vancouver Velocity, all signatures here. And I know they have a couple things up their sleeve that I'm waiting to see if them bring out. Thwomp Ruins was a time trial for this week for them, so maybe that gets brought out depending on the situation. But here, I know this team, they're very confident in quite a few tracks here, both in the base game and the DLC. So very balanced lineup and a lot of track diversity. It's going to be hard to kind of counterpick them because it really just depends on their spots.
Well, let's see who Burger Squad brought to contest that, because it's looking like a tough task for them right now. And as we head on over to the Burger Squad lineup, we have Deadly Mouse, we have Ghost on camera, we have Gold End on camera, we have Italic, we have Lemons Fox, and we have Zay. And just like OnlyFriends, this is an incredibly star-studded roster. There's not a single weak link here. Every player here can do the business. Every player here can show up and pop off if needed. Especially looking at Lemons Fox here, he's one of the most technical players in the game. He'll be picking tracks like Excite Bike, MKS if his team lets him, and he's just going to be diffing on them because he's so fast.
Oh yeah, this team is so fast overall, and you mentioned it, top to bottom. There's no big weakness here, and I love that what we see this in the mid div level. These teams are just really confident top to bottom, and you love to see teams that don't really have a discernible weakness. I have to ask because I know you're very comfortable, you're very knowledgeable about the Burger Squad players. What do you think the game plan is going to be for them in this matchup, especially going up against a team like OF, someone they're very familiar with?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's a tough ask. I wouldn't know what to do if I had to go against this roster, but I think they just need to start well. It's going to be all about starting well. They know that OF are going to be picking the traditional American tracks, your B Dubs, your DKM tracks like those. Those aren't Burger Squad's signature tracks. Burger Squad is very good at other tracks, so they need to be ready for these tracks, especially DKM. It's been a weak point for them in the past, so if they can get over that DKM hump and do well, I think the match opens up for them, and I think they'll be looking forward to that, and they'll hopefully have practiced for this match.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you bring up there. Well, DKM's a strong point in favor of OnlyFriends. I know Burger Squad, they've also tended to like tracks that are commonly more seen in like the Europe metagame. You see like Bone Dry Dunes is a big prominent pick for them as well. And I know OnlyFriends has been inconsistent on that for like multiple seasons. We're talking like maybe a year or so now at this point. And that's like a track they're working on purely for this matchup as well as for other teams in their division. I love to see it here. These teams are kind of game planning for each other. They know what the others are going to pick, but they're also having some aces up their sleeve. It really is going to come down to who is the better team on this night, especially because, like, we've talked about it. They're so close. This is probably the most even matchup in this division. And, like, it's weird to say, but if any match is going to go to a tie on prime time, it would be Only Friends versus Burger Squad.
I would absolutely love a tie in this match. It's maybe not the most satisfying result, but they're so fun to watch. They're so fun to cast, especially at that very end moment when all the players cross the line. You don't quite know who's won yet, but you know it's going to be close and you're just on the edge of the seat. So we can only hope for a close match in this war. Some other tracks that we're looking out for. I know Burger Squad have got the secret Singapore pick up their back sleeves. They've been fantastic on it. Whenever they get bottom spots, they're picking it. They're drafting up, and just in the snap of a finger, they're in top 4, top 5 every single time they pick it. So that's something to watch out for. The other track pick that I really want to see tonight is Merry Mountain from the Only Friends side. I know ZekieCat is one of the best players in the world on Merry Mountain. I'm hoping his team wants to pick it with him because I want to see the magic, the Christmas magic from OnlyFriends from ZekieCat today.
Hey, it's never early enough for Christmas magic, and you kind of need a little bit of it, especially in a matchup like this. They're both so even. You gotta rely on a little bit of luck there, a little bit of magic, just to make sure you get this win. Pivotal matchup as well. I'm so curious about what it's like for both of these teams going into this, knowing that you're basically going up against pretty much the exact definition of a division rival, a team you play so often, a team who's basically right around your level. Historically in scrims, Burger Squad has had the upper hand in those win-loss records. But hey, you're in a tournament setting. Everything is different. You're bringing out the best players from both sides. Even with the lineups and the POVs, you're getting the greatest players that possible pretty much. It's going to be such an awesome matchup to have. And like this is going to be one of the biggest matchups I think to be watching for, especially in this mid-div level. D9 is pretty much all on watch right now, knowing that this matchup honestly has a big thing going into playoff implications as well. Knowing that this is a shorter season, only 3 weeks, each game, it just elevates the stakes even more.
Indeed, and I think every single one of these players is well equipped for this situation. A lot of the Burger Squad players have won MKU before, maybe in the lower divs, but they still have that playoff experience. They're ready to bring it here. Last season, they were in D8. They made a fantastic run and ended up second in division, I believe. I could correct me on that one. I know they made a great playoff run. I'm not sure about OnlyFriends. They made playoffs last season as well. Is that correct?
They were in a tiebreaker, I think, for like the last playoffs, but I think they just barely missed out. They're not too far separated from the when they won division championship in MKU a few seasons ago. So there's some playoff experience here. There's a lot of like just pretty much experience top to bottom here. Like there's been a lot of players on OF who have been playing not only this game but other Mario Kart games as well. Brat and Bubble is very experienced in the Wii era, being bringing a lot of like experience just from that end. And one of the best things I think, knowing this matchup especially, both these teams have just so much chemistry with each other. It's one thing to have a team that's like just really talented, but it's another thing to have teams that are talented and confident playing with each other. Hasn't been too many changes from that Burger Squad lineup since their inception, and they've just kind of grown together, and you love to see that. OnlyFriends has had basically a similar resurgence with that in the last year or so. So it's going to be so awesome just seeing two teams so comfortable playing with each other, and you're going to see like chemistry is like at an absolute forefront today.
Absolutely. On the side of Burger Squad, every single player there except Italic was on the team last season, has been playing with each other for multiple seasons. And I've seen Italic play with them. He's folded in seamlessly. He's so quick. He's so good at working with them. He's not, so it's not a chemistry issue at all that they have a new player on their squad. And I really think Italic is one of their scariest players going into this match. He is on the Yoshi bike tonight. So on certain tracks, he will be deadly and and his speed will be necessary for Burger Squad if they want to win this matchup.
Yeah, Italic, I know that was a name I saw being an addition in the off season for them. And that was one of the names I was thinking of. There's gonna be an X factor here for either team. It's gonna be those like players who kind of newer to those teams. Yes, they've blended in seamlessly, but kind of now being that weapon that hasn't been there in previous months for them. In Burger Squad's case, it's Italic, especially having that inside drifting vehicle to add to their arsenal, having some advantages on certain tracks there could be a dagger here for Burger Squad. From the side of OnlyFriends, Angle got promoted from grounded gaming up to OF after last season, has blended in very nicely there with OnlyFriends, and has added some of their track picks as well to the OF repertoire. So it's awesome. You get to see these X factors really start to come into play and just see how these teams are going to go into it as well. It's going to be pretty much one of those matchups where, as you alluded to earlier on, the start is going to be just so pivotal. Whichever team is able to kind of establish an advantage early on is going to have a little more control, and it's going to be such an important thing to watch for, especially when both these teams are able to just keep it neck and neck, probably take us to a race 12 that might end up being the deciding race.
Indeed, I mean, I think both of these teams have so much metal to them. They're not ones to throw away an easy lead. If a team gets a lead, the other team is going to have to work so hard to bring it back. And I see OnlyFriends all with mock-ups of me.
Yep.
They want to make me biased for them. What are they doing? Like, I have to remain neutral as a caster, but they've all shown up with me. This is so funny to see. I love this from OnlyFriends.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to say anything, but I did remember seeing it in their team chat that they were all gonna go to TopHatBear me. Just to, I don't exactly know why, but what a nice nod here on Primetime to see your own me. So love to see that. We're going into a zero gravity track to kick us off here, whether it be Sky High Sunday from OnlyFriends, or we're going to Burger Squad's Big Blue here on Race 1 to kick off this Primetime.
Yes, this is a fantastic track to play. It's a fantastic track to start in the lower middle spots from. The beginning is fairly easy to do, but after the first few corners, there is a big shroom up, and getting the shroom from the first set of the second set here could be massive to put you in a great spot to run this race. Up until the end of the race, there's very little shortcuts. The only thing that can change this race is a shock from the cannon set, so it'll be important to establish tops early. So let's see which team can do that as we start with Zekie's point of view.
Yeah, it's interesting to see this here on Big Blue. A track also defined just with that cannon set, one of the most broken item boxes in the game, as you see them getting hit out pretty early on here. Lap 3 is really where we're going to see things happen. It looks like the green squad here will be Burger Squad, as Ghost now in tops, able to get access to that double box, already has 10 coins, and have a few Nite movements, but you see them get banana slapped by, I think that was Godkiff, tumbling down a couple spots, as Brad has those greens in this mid pack, and a lot of players are just so close overall here in lap 2, as Ghost gets hit out.
Yes, that is so unfortunate for Ghost. However, it puts him in a very, very dangerous position to pull the shock here at the cannon set as we swap over to Zekie's point of view, who is also in bottom 4. We see a lot of Burger Squad players in bottom 4 right now, although that does look to be an OF player next to Zekie. It is Bubbles. I believe they both have Bills. I don't think OnlyFriends have shock right now. It is important to see if Burger Squad does. They do not as of yet, but there are 3 bullet bills in play. It's likely a player can pull it here, but we go to Angle's point of view at the start of the race. At the front of the race, he's looking to trail out Lemon's Fox, but greens him instead after getting fired, and he pulls fire and takes out Deadly Mouse as well, but he gets fired as well. Whoever is in what is just breaking away. I think that's a Burger Squad player.
Yeah, I think that is a Burger Squad player, as Angle does get hit out right by the boost panel, is able to back up into it here, but unfortunately here in last place, is able to red out the 11th place player, has a golden just to make up any other spots here, but what a tight race here to kick us off, actually being able to get past Zay, I think that was in last. 1-4 here in a few of those lower mids for Burger Squad. It's probably going to be a race just as so, another like closer to even start, kind of what we've been expecting here on a course that probably wasn't expected off of race 1.
Yeah, I believe that's like an even race. It can't be more than a 4-point swing either way. I mean, I'm going to be made wrong as soon as this appears on the screen. But from my intuition, a 2-3-5-6, a 1-4-7, they're very, very similar results. But we see OnlyFriends going to DK Mountain and Burger Squad picking Yoshi. It's not Yoshi. The Yoshi bike track. That's what I'm trying to say. Toad's Turnpike. It is the Yoshi bike track. Let's be real. Yoshi bike is just so fast on Toad's Turnpike, but it is equally as slow on DK Mountain. So it'll be interesting to see which track gets picked. It's huge advantage for the team that gets their track pick here, and we see Toad's Turnpike being selected on the side of Burger Squad.
What a selection that you don't often see nowadays. Toad's Turnpike kind of making a resurgence here for teams that even only have one bike. As you mentioned, really strong for those inside drifting players, just because you're able to take these lines like super tight. One of the few tracks that are just dominated by the inside. And now it's going to be a matter of seeing how you play at Turnpike, because Turnpike has a few flexible options here. You have seen teams just opt to stay in the back, go for shock, just star and build through all the vehicles here, but you also see teams draft up or front run, and the pack has immediately become super close. Angle unfortunately getting slammed into a vehicle on the side, but is able to get a couple item boxes as Ghost, making use of this draft here. Everyone's so close up at the top, and that's kind of what you expected to see here, as Ghost ends up hitting the car, and the pack's still overall real close.
This looks like a great start for OnlyFriends. It seems to be Zay alone up amongst a sea of OF players. We see ZekieCat ending up in first, using the small hitbox of Scooty to his advantage, weaving around the cars expertly, and now top 2 position for OnlyFriends. This is great. However, they need to watch out for the shock on the side of Burger Squad. This track is completely different to Big Blue. There's not one central set. However, on this track, every single item set is a moving set, which means you can take the item boxes as many times as you want, and they will give you a chance for shock every single time. Your boxes won't get stale. They won't give you greens like they will on any other track. You could just keep rotating for it, as we see the Burger Squad players in the back rotating for shock. Blue is out, coming for Zeke. He does not get to the Nana, and now Bubbles takes the lead on Toad's Turnpike.
Yeah, Zeke also having no defense here. I know Brat is pretty high up as well here for OnlyFriends. You have to start to wonder if shock is going to be pulled here from Burger Squad on lap 3. This could be a great way for OF to just capitalize off a solid start. +8 on race 1. Ghost going for it again, ends up pulling another blue shell here. Is able to burn it, has the bullet bill. Moving on up, you see Evan in 11th there. Zeke ends up getting ghosted. Bubbles is probably going to be just fine getting right before the line, and this is another potentially great race here. At least the top 2 from OnlyFriends, as you start to see a few more mid-spec spots come in. Ghost unfortunately getting last here. Top 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. It's a great race here for OF.
And that is a very strong race for OF and will propel them to an initial lead in this match. And there goes one of Burger Squad's ace tracks. Toad's Turnpike is off the board now, unless the team obviously wants a 20-point repick penalty. And we see Burger Squad going to all reliable Singapore Speedway. We see a B-Dubs pick as well, and we see Sky High Sunday on the side of OnlyFriends. I know both Bubbles and Brat are amazing at this track. It's so hard to lose one on this track. There's 2 item sets right at the beginning. You're going to get a coin. You're going to get a defense. You're going to have your speed up. You're going to be well protected, and you need a miracle to take you out of one.
Yeah, it's one of those OF signatures here. They've been playing Sky High Sundays since the Wave 2. Meanwhile, Singapore Speedway, love the option for that from Burger Squad. One of those tracks where you just start off with more coins. You're able to draft up pretty early on and then translate that into running spots. So you're able to see if Burger Squad is going to be able to use that to their advantage here. OF, after 2 races, has gotten off to a sizable lead here, 28 points, but still a lot of Mario Kart left to be played here. And Burger Squad, definitely a team that can turn things around here on this race 3.
Absolutely, and this track is so strong for the bottom spots. There's a small shroom up at the start, but the main thing about this track is there are very little coins to get, and the players starting in the back start with more coins, so this is definitely advantage Burger Squad. However, the OF players are very quick here, and if they can keep their lead, they're in a great position. However, we see Italic off to a very, very nice start. He's broken away in 1 already. Ghost gets righted off Glider, but BS still has 2 players in the top spots, and Ghost has triple nanas in the mid pack. Let's see if he can make a play with them and take out some of the OnlyFriend players. He's aiming for Bubbles right now. Bubbles, you need to watch out. D-Mouse gets hit out. We see Zay getting hit out in the mid pack as well, but I believe Italic still maintains his lead as we head into lap 2.
Yeah, Ghost also throwing those nanas up and away here. Zeke taking that single item box. Angle is in 2 with a bomb as Zeke does trail. Could be a really great way for OF to get something going here. Losing the trail, unfortunately, to that ground banana. But double bomb in 2nd and 3rd. Really scary spot here if you're in 4-5. And this could be a potentially great way to just coordinate something. You saw the bomb snipe being thrown out by Angle, and it looks like it did connect onto Italic. He has a knack for dropping those bombs in the perfect spot and able to make that happen, and a great use of the wall dodge against that red as OnlyFriends here, top 2 on Singapore Speedway.
Indeed, that was a great sequence of events from both Angle and Zeke. Angle taking out Italic with the bomb snipe from downtown, and Zeke then following up, backing bomb himself, missing the double, but getting the wall dodge. We see Shock coming in. We see both Zeke and Ghost on Glider, both of them predicting the Shock to come in, but we see Ghost takes the tighter line, exiting the Glider, and is now in first place as he heads into the final item set. Let's see if the OF players can pull reds behind him, or will Ghost run away with the lead? We see Zeke with a shroom with triple greens in pocket. He's slowing down a bit so he can take out some of the other players, but Ghost is still maintaining his lead. The Reds aren't coming. He makes a line fail, but he trays out Angle and cut for it. Is this a secret masterclass from Ghost? And it's a top 2 from Burger Squad. Ghost with what looks like a line fail, but ends up being a master stroke of glory as Burger Squad gets top 2-4 in that race. That is a fantastic place for them to finish.
Sometimes the best plays are the ones you didn't intend to make, as Burger Squad Ghost able to still secure not just first, but end up getting them into a top 2-4 situation there on Singapore. They've gotten a great way to just keep these track picks going. Rocking Piranha Plant slide as well, going up into this end of the first Grand Prix. DK Mountain, another selection here from OnlyFriends. Really liking this pretty much at every spot, really, for them. They pick it pretty much wherever they think it sees fit here. Burger Squad has cut the lead a bit here. It's now only 16 points, but OnlyFriends still up now. We are going into DK Mountain, one of the biggest signature tracks here for OnlyFriends, and also a track where you gotta watch out for those spots, especially with how prominent Shock can be on here.
I am going to disagree with you here, Spicy. I think Ghost did that intentionally. I think it was a really, really great play. Ghost is a super aware player. He knew Angle was behind him trying to take cut, and let's see if he can bring his fire gameplay over to DKM, or will the power of Bubbles and OnlyFriends be too much for him, as we see Lemons, Fox, and Ghost keeping a top 2, top 3 lead with Italic as we start off the race.
Yeah, this shake up here, you see a lot of Burger Squad now up in these tops, but you're also going to have to watch the back of this map here. We know how big Shock can really be on here, especially multiple times on DK Mountain, purely because of this cannon set that you will really see. And when we go into lap 2, Zeke fighting up here for tops. A lot of OF just feels really comfortable running up here. Pretty much everyone on this team knows how to play this track very well. 2-3 so far for Burger Squad, being Lemons and then Ghost, but Evan making his way up now, as you see quite a mixed range of players here in these top spots. Angle has smuggled a dodge all the way up into 4th, and that's going to be really big to note, especially with a 2-3-4 here from OF, and a few players now in the back, potentially maybe they'll try to be at distance soon.
It's not just the cannon set that's broken on this track, it's the set before it. As we see the Shock coming out, Angle dodging in 3rd, now has a Shroom in 1st with potential for defense behind it. However, he does pull a coin, but his teammate should be right behind him if they dodge the Shock as well. This looks like a really strong position for OF to be in. We see Lemons Fox maintains his 2, but does not have anything to hit out Angle as of yet. Let's see if Zeke can apply the pressure. And he does. He pulls a red, throws the red at Lemons while he's holding Shrooms right before the cut. Lemons is unable to Shroom right there, as if he Shrooms to get defense out. He Shrooms over the cut and misses it completely. Zeke with some great dodges on the fire, but gets redded out for his trouble. And we see a lot of Burger Squad players now behind Angle in 1. But Angle is so far breaking away. Even a red shell won't be enough to take him to 2nd. The blue shell is coming. I wonder if Angle still has that Shroom in 1, as we see Ghost holding another Shock, but it gets shocked out of his hand by OnlyFriends. I believe they are canceling the blue. This is the 2nd Shock they've pulled this race, and both have been such great Shock calls.
Yeah, pivotal here for OnlyFriends to make great use of the Shocks here on DK Mountain. You back over to Zeke now. Double reds here in 7th place. Throws one forward, throws another one up. Taking the single item box here as well. Pulls another set of triple reds here, as you start to see who's going to be falling victim here. D-Mouse and Lemon Fox now just in this path here. Now trying to get away from this backfire, as you do see that Zeke able to hold on to 7. D-Mouse in 6. Just now time to see what happened up in those top spots. Top 4 for OnlyFriends, and that's another big statement for them as they increase their lead.
I mean, it's DK Mountain. We were expecting this from them. Burger Squad were expecting this from them. OnlyFriends were expecting this from themselves. Everyone knew it was coming, and OnlyFriends managed to capitalize. They got their DK Mountain pick. They showed why they are the kings of that track, the goats of that track, if you may, and are now going back to try for a Sky High Sunday again for the 3rd time this war.
Yeah, Sky High is just such a great runner. We've talked about it before. It's so hard to lose one, especially when you have so many players right behind you to offer you defense. Meanwhile, you see Trainbow now being the option from Burger Squad. arguably the track that kind of just defines the lower spots now here. Able to just make great use of the drafts and just really get your way up into these top spots. And you'll see what happens here, especially with a lot of the players on both teams knowing the smart steer hearing strat, and just time to see who's going to be able to hold on to their spots, especially near the end of lap 1.
Burger Squad got shocked 2 times last race, so why not go to a track that rarely, if ever, has shock pulled on it? This is an amazing strategy decision from them. Trainbow, like you said, is so good for the bottom spots, but the smart steering glider does counter that a little bit, but the coin advantage might be too much to bear as we see Lemons Fox already up in 2 and Gold End is drafting up. This looks like a very great start for Burger Squad. Zekies maintains the lead, but he has a lot of Burger Squad players right behind him. If Golden can pull a red here, it might be game over for Zekies, but Angle has a horn right next to them. Does Angle burn the horn? Where is the horn? Angle still holding it. Is he going to stop horn? Golden must be so scared, and Angle finally clicks the button, lets the horn rip, and takes out the Burger Squad players, and now it is just 1 for OnlyFriends. Zeke is in 1 with defense, but he has Italic and Zay for company who are bearing down on him, and the bomb snipe comes out. This is advantage Burger Squad as we head into lap 2. Lap 3 now.
Yeah, this final lap is so pivotal now. Burger Squad find themselves in a position where they're able to just hold on to this top 4, maybe get a little bit more as they try and reverse what happened to them on DK Mountain. You love the positioning use here now from Burger Squad, just able to just space out, make sure they're not getting on top of each other, able to make something happen. You see a lot of them in tops, Angle getting hit out as well, and a lot of OnlyFriends sent towards the back here as they try to go for a horn onto Zeke. That looks like maybe a top 5, and or at least a lot of those tops. Yeah, top 5, 8. What a response here from Burger Squad.
That 44-point advantage that OnlyFriends has built up is now 10 points, 8 points, less than 10 points, I believe, as we are 5 races into the war. So, like you said in the pre-show, it's going to be a close war. It still is a close war after 5. Very little separates these 2 teams. Burger Squad saw what OnlyFriends did on DKM. They saw the top 4. They said, anything you can do, we can do better, and finish with a top 5 and pick the runner of choice, Paris Promenade, a very strong track for Italic on inside in 1. With OnlyFriends responding with Tokyo Blur, one of the other great bottom spot drafting tracks analogous to Trainbow or Singapore, which we've seen both teams pull off really well so far.
Yeah, I know Tokyo Blur has been one of those tracks that OnlyFriends has been developing over the last season or 2, purely for moments like this. Trainbow is already off the board. Singapore is already off as well. They don't really feel the need to bag when we can just have coins, get up into top spots through drafting and good item play. We are back here to Wave 1. Tokyo Blur is the option from OnlyFriends. 8-point game. We talked about how close this was going to be, and everyone's going to be really close up with each other, especially as you start seeing some of these drafts in play. Ghost getting trailed out immediately as well.
Yes, we see a lot of Burger Squad players getting hit early. We see Slime to Evan and Zeke up amongst the front pack. Zeke has the coin advantage already starting in the back. He also is taking the Nisk. We see Bubbles streaming up, and this looks to be a top 3 at the moment for OnlyFriends. This is a fantastic start for their race. Zeke defending against the green and streaming up past his teammates triples. Brat can now protect him as they head into lap 2. We see Angle or Evan, one of them making their way into 4th right now. The green hits their trail. It is Evan. It is looking such a strong position right now for OnlyFriends as Gold End gets nanned out, but Italic has triple reds now in 5.
Yeah, you start to also watch the back of the map here as you're seeing players wondering if they're trying to go for a shock here at this point, especially with how strong OnlyFriends has up in these tops. Able to just hold on to this. It looks like Evan did get hit out, but there's still a top 3, bit of a break as well now. OF holding on to these spots. Ghost mashing through this gold and ends up only pulling a red as they're able to just get themselves up into this next set. Throws the red backwards, not going to connect onto Evan. Has the plant, throws it out now, but I don't know if that's going to be enough here, and waiting to see if Burger Squad has any more plays left here.
If Burger Squad has shock, it needs to come now, otherwise it is too late, and it does seem like they don't have shock. Ghost goes into a ghost for good measure. He steals a red out of it, but it's a little too little, a little too late, and the script has been flipped once again. We're ping-ponging back between great races as OnlyFriends takes home a top 3 on the streets of Tokyo.
Yeah, top 3 guaranteed positive here for OnlyFriends. Able to get, I think, 7, 10, and 12 also. So we've talked about it now. These teams are just responding with haymaker after haymaker, able to just counteract what the other team is bringing on out here. Sky High Sunday still on the board here for OnlyFriends. They're going to bring it out as their group runner if they're able to select it. Burger Squad, on the other hand, bringing out Moo Moo Meadows, another great track in those like middle and back spots just to get that shroom, take that early cut, and then from there, especially with such limited item sets, it kind of turns into just a really strong run overall for that team. Here we are going into this next race on Moo Moo Meadows.
Do you think we'll ever see Sky High Sunday this war? We've now seen OnlyFriends attempt to pick it 4 races, 4 out of the 6 races, and it has not been picked. Can it go on like this? Are we going to get Sky High Sunday at some point this war, or is it going to remain unpicked?
At this point, you just gotta play whatever track's in front of you. I feel like OnlyFriends is a team that has been very used to this, where they just don't get their track, especially when they need it most. Meanwhile, all of their focus is now on Moo Moo Meadows. We talked about the shroom earlier on. Golden now has the shroom up in these mid spots. It has to avoid getting hit out early, but is able to take this cut, move his way up into one, secure a double, guaranteed form of defense, and immediately trailing, able to take an angle in the process.
Yes, this is a strong position for Burger Squad to be in. We saw Talik at the start, no shroom, just inside bike lines, and this leads them to a strong top 2 position, top 3 even. Zeke is in the mix. It'll be interesting to see what he pulls here. He pulls triple nanas, but Ghost gets a vital draft to get away from him. Let's see if Zeke can gain some time and get them out. We see Ghost getting lag hit. Maybe the lag trail from the nanas can come out. The nanas are going up. They manage to snipe out Ghost, 2 shrooms up. We see Zeke with a horn. Can he hit a Talik if he releases mini turbo early? He does indeed, and is now in second, but it gets redded for his efforts by Zay. This is now top 2 again for Burger Squad. Talik gets another red shell hit out. Top 2 4 as Talik clips the grass, and we head into the final lap. The fire is coming for Zeke, but he is avoiding all of it. He pulls triple shrooms, which would be so clutch for him catching up. We have 1 more item set to go. He's dodging the cows. I thought he hit that there. Shrooming up through cut, and as we head into the final item set, let's see what he can pull. He can pull a green shell. He needs to do something, but get hit by a nana. We see all his OnlyFriend teammates are right behind him as we're heading into the final straight. It's a top 2 for BS, and goes for the green snipe, but it is not enough, and they take home a top 2, potentially more to come.
It looks like maybe a 3, 4, 5, 6 at least for OnlyFriends. So yeah, top 2, 7 through 10. From Burger Squad, and what a chaotic race. We knew that Moo Moo Meadows has that capability as well, where if you just have the tops kind of break away, that mid pack, even without a lot of items in play, it's just really difficult to navigate around. And here we are now, 12-point game, and pretty much going into this second half. It's been so close so far. OnlyFriends has remained with the lead, but here, especially if Burger Squad does get 3DS Bow, might be an opportunity for them to be in the advantage at this point. Yoshi's Island now coming out from OnlyFriends. I know they've really liked this track in those like lower spots, and they are going to get it here. Another volatile track as well, especially on lap 3 when you gotta hit that cloud. We're gonna have to wonder how did things play out, especially the added pressure of Primetime.
Indeed. This has been such an amazing match so far. Everyone in chat is getting their money's worth. I know they didn't pay anything, but even if they did, they'd still be getting their money's worth in this match. As we head on to Yoshi's Island, we need to watch out for the cloud. Like you said, we also need to watch out for this very early shortcut, which players can pull a shroom and instantly put themselves into the lead, as we see Burger Squad D-Mouse and Slime 2 Evan making their way up. We see a lot of greedy Yoshis in the front. This could be either team, but it seems like Burger Squad are in a strong position. Never mind, Zeke gets a wonderful draft out of nowhere and turns it into a top 2, but Godkip shrooms up and Zeke gets hit off right before the glider.
Yeah, unfortunate getting hit out right there, but you start to see a lot of players from both sides making their way up in the positions of spread out. Angle here in 5. You saw that the cloud was hit and has helped the players in tops. Just hold on here. The lines and the driving are really pivotal now as you start to see who's going to make an advantage at this point. Angle, unfortunately, getting hit out as Ghost also hitting the wall now. Probably just opting to stay in the back. Wondering if they're going to be able to pull shock. Looks like they're going to be at near distance. And unfortunately, just gets a bill here. Going back over to Gold End. Able to maybe get into these double boxes here. Bagging a little bit here as well. Nicely done. As you start to see Star now in play as really here on this lap too. It still feels like anyone's game, especially because we haven't seen a blue or a shock come out yet.
Indeed, shock is so powerful on this track. We haven't seen it in a few races since DKM, I believe. However, shock can be pulled like Angle does right now. It does so much damage after the start of the lap when the players are falling down into the water. Shock is out, and the Burger Squad players can see. They're frantically calling to the rest of the team that it is being held, and it is used right there by Angle. Lemons Fox dodges, but I do believe some OnlyFriends players have dodged as well, as we see Zay hitting the crab, but Lemons Fox getting out Angle with his Nana. Lemons Fox is using the dodge to his advantage and is causing chaos in the front for OnlyFriends.
Yeah, and it's so close here. Backfire coming out now from Angle as you start to see some more players just trying to stay alive here. Lemons Fox getting hit out here as Angle is left defenseless now. Cloud is going to be hit here by a banana snipe coming out as well. Not going to connect. Ghost now moving on up. Italic also there. At this point, multiple players just trying to salvage any spots up here on Yoshi's Island, and it's living up to the hype. Top 2, 4, 6. Another great race here for OnlyFriends. Just when Burger Squad looks to take the lead potentially, just keeps cutting it down. OnlyFriends gets away, at least has a little more breathing room for now, but going into this last Grand Prix, it still feels way too close to call.
That was a fantastic shock, that race from OnlyFriends. Lemons Fox was in a dodge, but he was the only one in a dodge, and it is okay if he gets if he dodges the shock, if the rest of the OnlyFriends players can capitalize, which they did, and later hit out Lemons Fox that lap, making it so Burger Squad lost all their front presence and gave OnlyFriends a strong race, as it looks like they have a 32-point lead as we head into the final GP. We see the Music Park and Choco Mountain picks coming out. Music Park does get selected. The first time that OnlyFriends have picked a runner not named Sky High Sunday, and it has been picked.
Yeah, and they get rewarded for it here. And Music Park, a track that OnlyFriends has historically done pretty well on. We're talking years of expertise on this course, picking it pretty much all the way back since like season 21 at the absolute minimum. These players feel very comfortable on it, but because this is another base game runner, you do know that Burger Squad is pretty comfortable on this track as well. Golden, unfortunately, getting sent to the back early on, but you are going to see a few players opt to get some drafts, opt to shroom up. The pack has started to devolve a little bit. Zeke still making his way up in the tops. God keep getting hit out here, but Zeke, through the Shroom and through the Super Bounce, able to stay up here in first place, trying to hold on, especially with a lot of Burger Squad potentially right behind.
Indeed, we see Burger Squad 2 through 5 right now. Zeke has the weight of the world on his shoulders, as it looks like Zay has triple greens behind him. And Angle gets hit out, putting even more pressure on Zeke at the front. He has been hit out. This is now a Burger Squad top 3, and the pick from OnlyFriends has backfired. Burger Squad top 4 with Italic sitting in 4th. Here we will see, can OnlyFriends repeat their shock pulling performance from the last race, or will Burger Squad run away with this race? Lemons Fox is so fast on this track. We see Angle again, he pulled the shock in the last race. Can he pull again? No, but he pulls Star Bill. He opts to use his Bill instantly. Instead of holding it for extension, he will try and keep chaining. He knows his team needs shock. It is dire. It is the 11th hour right now for OnlyFriends. We can see their lead evaporate once again, as this is so strong for Burger Squad right now. Zeke and Brat are in 5 and 6. They need triple reds right now to break this front run from the Burger Squad family.
Yeah, Zeke only pulling fire here. Have to watch for that back green as well. 5, 6, 7 now from OnlyFriends. Isn't going to do too much in terms of defensive play now. You start to see 2 bills are in play at least now in the back. Have to wonder if shock is going to be called, or if it's even going to be pulled at this point. We'll have to see if also a blue shell is being held now, as it looks like a lot of Burger Squad here in top 4, trying to just hold on, put a big statement here. The blue shell looks like it was being held, but there is a late shot coming out, and Ghost is going to be getting hit on the line. Gonna lose a few spots from that in the process, but they aren't able to hold on to 6th place here. The late shock going to be a factor a little bit. The 357 is at least gonna make it a bit of a salvage here for OnlyFriends, but still a good positive here for Burger Squad.
It's a great salvage there from Burger Squad. They unfortunately, from OnlyFriends, they do manage to put the Burger Squad player in 12th, preserving some of the points for them. I'll tell you, Spicy, when I saw that shock come out and cut, I got certain flashbacks to a different match we casted. I'm sure you know
I
the
know what you
exact
mean.
moment I'm talking about. I thought we were going to see it again when the blue was coming. I thought it was just going to be Combo City for Ghost, but he did manage to limp across the line in 6th, which is strong points for Burger Squad, as they have now halved what was about a 30-point deficit to a 16-point deficit with 3 to go. We see Waluigi Pinball come out from OnlyFriends. They are so fast on this track. It's unfair.
Yeah, they've been picking this track for a while now. One of those tracks where, kind of like Sky High Sunday, for the same rationale they pick it. We just know this track better than most teams, and we're just able to beat you outright on it. They're going to use this track to kind of just draft up, have some extra coins as well, and their knowledge of it, their use of the cycles is going to be really pivotal for them as they try to work their way up in the tops. Golden also drafting on up here early, has a red, has to avoid this first pinball as we do multiple players here, and you start to see Bump City already in play. Golden narrowly avoiding that pinball as a few players also getting hit out in the process here, and we're still here on lap 1, not even into the main pinball section yet either.
Indeed, and it looks like Burger Squad have got a good start to the race. I believe that is them in 1 and 3. Godkip is up in 2, applying the pressure, however. So it's looking like a very, very even pack. We see Angle shrooming up into 3, but also into the pinball. He maintains his 3 as it seems like the whole field gets cleared by the pinball. Angle avoids the tight Nana. He's backing his fire right now, and we see Ghost getting hit out. I believe that's a Burger Squad player in 1. It could be an OnlyFriends player as the blue shell is coming in. Golden managed to get a ring. We see the entire pack stopping for blue, but it is not enough stopping, and Burger Squad are now in a 3-man lead. We see Shrooms in top 2. We see Angle or Slime 2 Evan contesting the tops. It is Angle contesting. He's gonna need to do some magic work right here if he wants to maintain this lead. He does pull a Shroom. We see Italic backing out, fearful of the red, but the red is not pulled, and now Angle is in the lead. Ghost has a green shell behind him. Will this snipe land right now? It's up, it's away, and the pinball hits Angle instead.
Hey, it's a hit regardless here, and after all of this, Burger Squad remains in these tops. Golden has a horn, might be able to hit out Angle here, but gets a beautiful trail off in the process. Zay and Angle, 1-2. You see a lot of Burger Squad here in these top spots. One more lap here on the Waluigi Pinball. Have to wonder, we're gonna be seeing Shock in player, we're gonna be seeing another blue, especially at this point here with Burger Squad in these tops.
Indeed, Angle has such a powerful item right now. This can protect him so many times. Zeke is triple reds, but ends up getting collected by a pinball. Someone needs to rewatch this race and count how many pinballs have hit the players. Angle has a horn in 1, but is now defenseless. The red breaks on the horn to the Burger Squad player behind him was a little too hasty with that red. Let's see what he can pull at the final set, and it is a bomb. But he hits the bumper. Angle, what are you doing? He maintains his 1, though. He had such a lead. The blue's coming. The red's coming.
That trail.
Is he going to trail him out? No, Lemons Fox manages to take 1 with Angle coming home in 2nd. That is a tragic end right there. It seems like spoils are split at the top, with Burger Squad once again getting a 1-4-7 and OnlyFriends getting a 2-3-5-6. Another very, very close race. We only have 2 more of these to go. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's really coming down to the wire at this point. We hyped it up as an insanely close matchup. I don't think I was expecting it to be this close still. When we see OnlyFriends try and break away, Burger Squad is able to come back, bring it closer, and even at that point, sometimes you just gotta take whatever you can there. A great first there for Burger Squad. We see Bangkok Rush coming out now from BS. Meanwhile, OnlyFriends ripping out Weibo. Not a lot of time left in this matchup, and each race is really going to be pivotal here. And we're going to We Rainbow Road now for this next race in this war.
How many points is that Burger Squad has now?
There was a
Okay,
lot
it's
of points.
398. I was going to say Burger Squad have won not only this war, but the division with their 30,000 points right there. It does go back, and it does seem like that race was an OnlyFriends game despite all the chaos. It's now 24 points the gap. We have 2 races to go. Burger Squad need to make something happen in these final 2 races. As we see Ghost pulling a shrooming up early. His teammate Lemons Fox maintains the lead in 1. We see Gold End making his way up. If he pulls something good, he can make a play here. He ends up trailing out Godkip. Zekies has 2 reds in 2 and manages to take out Lemons Fox, but Gold End is now in 1 as we head into the cannon halfway through lap 1.
Yeah, and with We Rainbow Road being the longest track in this game, there's going to be a lot at play here. Don't be surprised if we see multiple blue shells, multiple shocks, especially as we cross this 30-second mark in this race. You see having that double defense up in top spots, able to try and trail out Golden here, is able to do so, it looks like. And there's a multiple tops potential for OF. Bubbles looks like they're close behind here. Zeke able to utilize a track that has been long in this OnlyFriends arsenal here, as now it looks like a 2-3 from Burger Squad, trying to see if they're able to get anything more, especially now in 2-3-4.
Indeed, it seems like Bubbles has been taken out of the pack. We see Ghost holding a star in 7. The blue is coming out now. We've seen when some insane drops this war. However, if I think Zeke drop from here, that would be a little bit suicidal. We see him maintaining his lead. The blue is going to get him right before cannon. That's the best place to be blued as you get up to speed right away. He maintains his 1, but gets redded out instantly after that. This is now Burger Squad advantage, and they really need this right now, being 24 points down with 2 to go.
Yeah, OnlyFriends could technically win out here with a plus 18, just seal the deal on race 11. Double reds in play as Zeke is able to take first place now. Have to wonder, there is a blue shell again in play. Angle holding it this time though, meaning that Zeke is able to hold on to first hopefully, and then maybe just know that the blue shell is just in play for them. Burger Squad has to be careful here. Have to wonder if shock starts to become a factor, especially now on lap 3 of We Rainbow Road.
We see a lot of Burger Squad players slowing down for it. However, this could put them out of contention of the race. If they don't pull, will they be able to salvage enough points to stay in this match, or can OnlyFriends win it right now? We see Ghost bearing down on ZekieCat, but does not have any more reds. Zeke is now in 1. He's defenseless, but there's nothing to take him out. It's all going to come down to the pull at this set. Can Ghost pull double reds right here to take out Zeke? He pulls 1. He can get rid of the defense with it, and then he's going to have to land the green snipe of his lifetime. Ghost, let's see what you have right now. This is where legends are made. Can you land the green right here? But it goes off the track. Fire. He gets fire anyways. Does Zeke have a horn and 1 to protect against it? He does. The horn protects him from the fire, and he makes it across the line in first. We'll have to see how the rest of the positions shake out. It looks like a lot of Burger Squad players are in the back. Could this be the war right now? 1, 3, 5, 8, 9. That is definitely not enough to win it here. We are going to race 12 on Primetime.
Exactly what we thought we were going to see. Race 12 on Primetime. Either team is still in it. Yes, OnlyFriends will have the lead going into this final race, but Burger Squad, a team that has pulled out big races before just today, definitely a team that you can't count out just yet. Sky High Sunday from OnlyFriends being hovered over. If there's a time to get it, it might as well be on race 12. 30-point difference here, but we've seen a lot of crazier things happen on Primetime before. As you mentioned, this is where legends are made. Burger Squad, knowing that just to keep themselves really in it this season, are going to Choco Mountain here for race 12.
Yeah, both tracks on the board are big race tracks, and that is what Burger Squad needs. Chocolate Mountain is a super deceptive track. It looks so easy to drive. However, if you slightly misjudge your line and clip the wall, it'll send you at a random angle that you'll never be able to predict. Coincidentally, Angle is the man who we are watching as OnlyFriends look to secure their win on Chocolate Mountain on race 12 of this Primetime match. He ends up not getting a box, but the draft more than makes up for it as he's making his way up the field. Deadly Mouse has triple greens. It looks like he's taken out one of the opponents. I will never know if he has, but this is looking like a decent start for Burger Squad, but they need more than just decent on this track.
Yeah, they need a big race here on race 12. You know that there's a couple members of OnlyFriends going towards the back already, kind of just acting as damage control, knowing if they are really watching for shock, watching for blues. You're starting to see the backs come out from Golden as the Ghost takes away their horn here on lap 2. And with Zeke still in first, that's going to be really important to note here. Any OnlyFriends top presence is really going to make things difficult. The bomb isn't going to connect. Zeke barely dodging that here in this tunnel, but if they're able to hold on to this tops, that would just be a wrap here on race 12.
If Zeke gets just first or second, it will be enough for his team to win. So Burger Squad needs to make something happen. They don't need to just hit him out. They need to Mario Kart him out as he's extending his lead. It does look like Godkip is now in second, with Slime 2 Evan or Angle in fourth. Slime in fourth, Angle in third. The shock does come out for Burger Squad. However, not enough players have dodged. I think that might have actually been an OnlyFriends shock, as they just ripped it so nothing could happen. They just need a small race. A small loss is fine. A small win is fine. No matter what happens, it's looking really, really good for them. Angle has a star for the end of the race. He opts to go into it now. He's trying to get positions now. It still looks like a top 2 right now for OnlyFriends. If they can carry this across the line, it will be the war win. Golden pulls triple reds. He's chucking them up. It's skipping multiple stars worth of players. It is hitting an OnlyFriends player right there. However, I'm looking at the mini-map, and that looks to be ZekieCat bringing it home in 1. Styling at the end for good measure with the Kusan slide. And that is a top 2 for OnlyFriends and the win of Primetime at Nite. Congratulations, OnlyFriends.
Yeah, Friends holding true here as OF does get a pivotal win here against their division rival Burger Squad on Primetime at Nite. We were talking about how much potential really could have gone into that last race. That was just really well played from OnlyFriends, knowing that Burger Squad had to resort to something big, even like a neutral shock at that point to kind of put it out of commission for a while there, made it pivotal as OF 3-1 on the season now. Really great start for them here as they're trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, trying to really get this momentum going here in this final MKU for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. What a race, what a result from them and Burger Squad. What a team, what a performance as well. While they didn't get the result they were looking for, I can't tell you how many times we thought they might have been able to pull something crazy out, especially every time it looked like they were down.
That's a fantastic result for OnlyFriends. They have a foot in the door for playoffs already, heading into their next match this weekend. They could almost secure it with a win, at the very minimum, forcing a tiebreaker. Burger Squad, on the other hand, most likely needed to win out their season, but they still have time. They showed some impressive play today. I would be afraid if I'm a D8 opponent and I have to face Burger Squad in the upcoming 2 weeks, because they are making a playoff push, no matter what the result was today. In the end, however, OnlyFriends were the winners. It was super back and forth. I mean, I don't want to say it was the Miis that were the difference maker, but it might have been the Miis that were the difference maker that war.
Yeah, in reality, we were talking about the X factor of both teams going into this. Maybe it was just the TopHatBear me that was the deciding factor here for OnlyFriends. In all seriousness, no, what a showing. We talked about this. We were hyping it up, even like in the week leading up to this. Like, this was going to be an amazing match, and it really lived up to the hype there. Coming down to that race 12, knowing that it could have been going either way. OnlyFriends had the lead. Burger Squad kept coming back, and really just one of the best showings of Mario Kart you're going to see at the mid-div level, and amazing matchup here to have on Primetime. I am getting word though that is going to wrap it up here for us on Primetime at Nite. From what I know, we have another Primetime scheduled for tomorrow with D12 action, Prime 6 stars against Dark Matter. Definitely gonna be a great matchup to watch. But that's gonna be it for us tonight. Another congratulations to OnlyFriends pulling this win out. But always, this is just the start of week 2 for MKU. My name is Spicy, and I've been joined on the mic here with TopHatBear, and we're going to be wishing you guys a good night as we wrap up here for Primetime.